Hi, this is Sharon from Within Station. Hoi, ik ben Sharon van Within Station. And you're watching en je kijkt nu naar Interview Under Fire. She bleeds out, she walks in heaven's winter, the
All right. Hey there, everyone. We are here with a new episode of Interview Under Fire. This is your host and Sunny back here once again. Today, I am so thrilled to welcome back the lovely and talented Sharon and Adel. It's an honor again, Sharon. Always great to have you here on IUF. I know we're once again landing on an exciting time of the year for you and the rest of the guys over at Within Temptation with the release of Bleed Out, dropped just a week ago, I believe, on Force Music.
Yeah, true.
I do want to first commend you on nearly 3 decades of Within Temptation. This is the 9th album now in this entire discography. You've had few EPs, you've had a few live albums and videographies in there. The legacy just is it 8 or is it 9?
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake. 8. All right. Okay.
Well, it depends if you do like a live CD together. If you counted it with, then probably could have said the Q Music Sessions. Then it's 9.
Yeah, that's what it is. And having said that, I mean, the legacy just keeps growing. I know there's a lot to talk about this record, but before we get to everything, right? It's been a minute. We talked about it in the pre-interview. It's been 3 years since we last got together and talked what we love most about the music. A lot has happened in the world. How have you been? We got some catching up to do. These are exciting times again, right? Better times, actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's no COVID pandemic anymore at this moment.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And so, yeah, a lot of crazy stuff has happened in those times that we didn't speak, actually. But some things became better, of course. Politically, in many countries, a lot of things went worse, of course. But yeah, hopefully within 3 years from now again, everything will be resolved again. That's the way of the world in a way, I guess. That hopefully in this case as well, of course. Yeah. So things have changed.
And I mentioned almost 3 decades. To be exact, I think it's 27 years we're coming up on. And I want to talk about this. Here's the thing, because I don't care who you are. It's not easy to accomplish what you have done in that time frame, Sharon. You've seen lineup changes in the band too, but here and now, right? Are you someone? I know I do. Are you someone who looks back on the early days of the band when this all began for you? Because you've come a long way since. I remember when Enter actually dropped. I know that's your first record. I was just a kid at that time, but that was actually my first record that I heard from Within Temptation, of course, later in my life. But you've come a long way. Like, let's do some reflecting here.
Yeah, well, I must say, I do look back on the first time I did something, like, for instance, first album, first video. Those things always stick in your heart, in your mind. After that, you lose a little bit track, especially after 27 years. And sometimes I remind myself, like, when I'm doing something and one of the fans has used our music, and oh my God, that song I haven't heard in years. And then, then I forgot about a certain song, which is crazy, of course. But I always look ahead because we always love to evolve and do new things. But, the special moments like the anniversary that we had with the Black Symphony or the Element Show, those kind of things, they are like really big highlights. And the first time you do something for real, like work with a real orchestra, your first album, your first video, like I said, those things are the things that I remember best.
And one of the more unique works of art that you do is, of course, we talked about this last time, is your work with My Indigo. How is that going? Any news with that side of your music?
Well, I love that album still. It was very important for me to write that and to get certain things out of my system. And it really helped me. And I think in the future, I really still want to do another My Indigo album, but I really, unfortunately, have had no time because life goes fast and there was so much catching up also to do with after the whole COVID that we had to the whole Worlds Collide Tour that we did with Evanescence, and then festivals. Writing a new album.
It's just nonstop. The list just keeps going. And you have that bleed.
Yeah, exactly.
You have that Bleed Out 2024 tour that's coming up next year too. So hopefully that's something we can see here in the States. So of course I'm just a fan, but you're hearing it from me. I hope you can come to Dallas, and hopefully we can do this in person too. Like I miss
That
doing
would be
interviews like
lovely,
in person.
actually.
That'd be great. That'd be great, of course, because one of the things that makes Within Temptation so unique is the live presence. You know, because those cinematic and theatrical elements in your live sets are they're just a thing of beauty. So I am just counting down the days till that happens again. Now, I want to get to Bleed Out. Okay, this dropped
Yeah, of course.
last week on Force Music. Now eighth album. I you did say that. This is a wonderful follow up to 2019's Resist. It's been in my that has been in my rotation since it dropped, and
Oh
well,
wow.
hell, every album has been in my rotation since because Within
Of course.
Temptation, as far as like bands I've been introduced to when I was a young kid, that was one of them. This is also the first album in 4 years. Definitely well
Yeah.
worth the wait. I think from what I've seen, people are and will be very satisfied this one. I actually believe you added another layer of Within Temptation with this record because the challenges of keeping things fresh, Sharon, after 26 years or 27 with the same band. Like, do you ever feel any of that, or is there something that you mentally point to that keeps those creative, juices flowing? You can point at like, hey, yeah, that's it. I can still continue making the music I am because it's so fresh, because sometimes you kind of run into obstacles and it's like, okay, what can I do next after all this time? Do you feel a challenge, or is it just not there?
Well, yeah, so like a challenge. I think we had a challenge between the Hydra album and the Resist album. For us, it was a difficult time to get inspired in somehow to be well to find a new direction, and that was a bit depressive in a way. But
Mm-hmm.
this album was so easy to write because there was so much happening that influenced our musically as, but also with lyrics it became way easier to write, unfortunately, because like when there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world, it inspires you
Yeah.
to write. And the basics is that we are just storytellers, and of course with a flavor of our own way of looking at those topics, of course. um, but with the happening of the war in the Ukraine by Russia,
Right.
where
Right.
we played a lot in both countries and have so many beautiful memories, to see that happen, it was like a huge shock to us. And that's also why this album has become so heavy, because a lot of songs were inspired by that war, actually. And besides that, it's also what happened in Iran with brave individuals, ladies like Masa Amini, who stood up against a regime that oppresses the country, and especially the young generation, to my opinion, and to take a stand, although they know they're going to be killed, or even family getting hurt by their
Right.
actions. They still do it because it's too important not to do it. And those people inspire us. It's like doing the right thing, in a way, I guess. Fighting for freedom is something that doesn't come without blood, unfortunately, or without a cost. Here in Europe, people are complaining about that the war in the Ukraine costs too much money, but that what they don't realize, if we lose, first of all, I think we should support them.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, if they are also fighting for democracy, and because if we lose another country to Russia, which was almost the case also with Poland now, just recently with with elections, there's a pro right winged party that was the biggest party that did was the government for the last few years, and they
Right.
changed a lot of laws which are not very democratic. There was no option to have the news from different sides, just the state news broadcast. So democracy was really going down there, and by winning the elections from the opposite side now, it's really 50-50. But as it looks now, they're going to run the government, be the government now. They're going to undo the changes they have done. Like there was not a possibility to have sex education in schools, but also they wanted to have that there was not able to be have an abortion in Poland, even by rape or anything. There
Okay.
was no. So these things are being pushed. It's going to be turned around again, how it was when there was democracy. But if there's too many countries where we're going to vote for the right-wing parties, which are in a lot of cases pro-Russian, and it's going to destabilize Europe, which is a big threat that a lot of people, I think, which is logical, not because everybody's looking at their own situation, their own country, but if you look Europe as a whole, there's a big threat there of destabilizing.
Yeah.
Destabilizing. Oh, I can't say it anymore.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
You know what I want to
I get
say.
it.
That's a difficult word for me. And Europe, and I find it very sad. And I hope by just keeping this subject alive while we're supporting the Ukraine is for many reasons, mostly because it's a sovereign country and take your hands off of any sovereign country, to my opinion, but also because it will destabilize Europe in many ways, and like they have tried to with Brexit in between Europe and England, how they also infected, of course, the American elections. So it's very important to address these topics, in my opinion. I don't think we can move mountains, but I do hope that people will start realizing there's something else going on than what's happening in their own country.
And the fact that you're able to express your opinion on such a productive outlet like this, I think there's a sense of it's very therapeutic, getting the message across in ways that you may not be able to get the message across, and I think it's
No,
that
exactly.
you've done it. And what's really unique about Bleed Out is that it's really become this, this battle cry, like this fist in the air proclamation of your fearless approach to music. I love that you took a step further with it. And yeah, this dropped last week, but this dropped like right in the middle of also that conflict between Palestine and Israel. It's very,
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's so relevant with the lyricism that's coming out with Bleed Out. And I was like, wow, the timing is just almost, you can't make
yeah,
this up. You have a song like Wireless, right? And I love that song. It's about a soldier who goes to war convinced that I believe he's doing it for a good cause. I mean, that's not easy to write
yeah,
about, but the fact that you were talking about it, it really, I think that adds another component of songwriting for a band like Within Temptation. Like I mentioned how you this is another layer added onto Within Temptation's discography, right? What did you just talk about? I think that adds on to that. Aside from just the music, it's also the themes and the lyricism and the message, and I can tell that those are very important elements for someone like you. I would
yeah.
imagine.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, because you feel powerless,
Yeah.
and like you said, maybe the message won't come across. I don't have the illusion that everybody listens to lyrics, but I do hope that people will listen or read the interviews that we're doing, and that they might get like, that they might think, okay, maybe I should think again about what my point of view about this is. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's like a small contribution, but it's like if everybody from a different angle would do the same, then there's so many voices, then people can't ignore a different sound, a different way of thinking, of a positive, to my opinion, more positive way of thinking, because then we stand together against oppression, to my opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with me, Sharon, because that really adds another it really adds another side of Within Temptation that maybe people have not been exposed to before. And I love that you are doing this. No one's afraid to talk about. You shouldn't be afraid to talk about what you
No,
believe is you're passionate about, what you believe that should be, because people usually they stay quiet a lot. I would think
yeah.
the pandemic really changed a lot of things about how we see things in the world, and I appreciate you talking about this. I appreciate you
Well,
sharing that with me. But
the thing is that we don't realize a lot of people aren't able to talk about it where they would
mm,
love to talk about it in countries like Russia, in countries like Iran.
being a voice
And
for them, so
yeah, but we're living in a democracy.
mhm,
And okay, we can maybe let's at least agree to disagree at certain things, but let's keep on talking about it. And that's the only
yeah,
thing that we're trying to bring across. We're not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, but it's more like we want to have that subject alive. And I think only by talking and thinking and discussing, we can get to a next level. And we don't do it by being silent, in my opinion.
yeah, very true. Now I want to talk about this because I don't think we had a chance to talk about this last time, and I think this is so important. Your partner in life, Robert Westerholt, is also a member in the band. He said this, and I couldn't stop laughing. Because I want to talk about, because you also work with Daniel Gibson, who's also producer for this since 2004, I believe, which is really great. It
Yeah,
really shows the chemistry, because the sound was always something I loved about Within Temptation. Robert went on to say, Sharon and I don't write together, we fight. I'll sit down and write with Daniel, but then I go out of the room and then she comes in and does the same. He talked
yeah,
about how it was such a creative like ebb and flow, which has really historically yielded impressive results. Because you two are life partners, Sharon, I wonder if there's that friendly competitiveness between you and Robert, like a level of convenience, maybe because you know each other so well, or is it convenient, or is it like it's a headache? It's like, oh, all right, let's do this again. Here we go.
Well,
It's
no,
that
no, no, no,
routine.
no, perfect. No, but I understand what you're trying to say. The thing is, we are so in our own head when we're trying to create something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like two leaders on a ship. Like we both want to be on the steering wheel, and then being annoyed by the others. Like it's, I had something too. It's like trying to push the other away a little bit. And then we are a little bit in competition, maybe yes. Although I applaud everything he has done so far on his own and what he came up with, as he does to me as well. So, but it's more like when we're in one room, just hell breaks loose. It's like I don't know why, but I don't know if you've ever worked with your partner, but a lot of people can relate to this. It's like if when you want to work with your partner or maybe family in general, it doesn't work. It's really like don't even try. It's like I've seen so many people, yeah, really break up because
Even though you're both
yeah,
passionate about the same thing, it's like
yeah, of
you're
course, yeah.
clashing.
Yeah, yeah, but it's more like it's because music is such a fragile process.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
someone else, even the slightest unfriendly thing or even a look can be like, okay, that you don't feel safe anymore to do anything out
Mm-hmm.
of the ordinary. And it should be a safe place. So we decided, okay, we'll do it separately. Even we sent emails to each other when we do the lyrics. So it's like, okay, sent. And
That's such a unique approach,
then
and I'll tell you this much: it's working for that much is for
yeah, it
sure.
is. And
And
and Daniel's the perfect mediator. He really understands also because he has the same problem with his wife. So it's funny that we can laugh afterwards about it, but at the moment itself it can really really be tough. Yeah.
I'm just imagining you and you and Robert on stage during a certain part in the song where you guys like maybe disagreed or agreed upon, and then you just look at each other and be like, yeah, this part was it, right? Like that look you give to him on stage. Like that's something that I want to keep an eye out for because I know you have that. I can tell. But songs like We Go to War and like the title track and The Purge, Unbroken is probably my favorite one on this record because it's the last one I believe on this entire track list, but I keep going back to that over and over. Just a great way to end this album. I went back and listened to your entire catalog, and
Oh, wow.
it is like in each album is layer added onto the band sound. There's a sense of evolution that I have sensed. So it's really cool to see like when you first start. I don't know if you do that. You listen to your first songs that you wrote on Enter, and you're like, did I really write that? It's like I wonder if you do that too. Like I know I come from a family of musicians, and both of my brothers are drummers. My mom's a singer, and they would go back
Oh,
and
wow.
you know what? I should have done it this way. So I don't know if you like that. And if you do
Well,
think like that, you change it on stage. So that's
yeah,
always a
there is.
battle.
But the thing is, I look back on it with nostalgia, that because a lot of memories are music and memories go hand in hand. It's my opinion. And the thing is that I always look back on things with nostalgia. I'm not criticizing myself for the fact how it sounds because I also understand like it was a point of growth.
Yeah.
You grew up, we were just like a hobby band and we were just doing this for fun besides our real daytime jobs, and it just exploded, and we never thought we would be doing this like for 27 years that we are doing now. We're very grateful for it as well because this has always been our passion, and this is always
Yeah.
what we wanted to do, but everybody told us we were not able to do because we're living in the Netherlands, not in America, where we don't have the history like you guys, or in England where the history of music is so much bigger and more taken
Mm-hmm.
seriously, of course. So but yeah, just I'm looking at it like, okay, I was in that point of my life, I looked at certain things in this way, I can remember that. It's like a flashback.
Aging like fine wine, I'll tell you that much. And you talk about being nostalgic. I know we got a few minutes here, but I know I love that you said it's a hobby band. It's so interesting how hobby you don't just wake up one day and say I want to be a rock star and you just accomplish all these things. It always starts off as a hobby, right? And then
Yeah,
you see the reception and you go, oh, I got something here. Maybe I need to take advantage of it. It's always, I love that you said that. I hear that so many times, and it's so unique when someone mentions that. But Sharon, I know we've covered a great deal of topics on this our conversation here. It's always so great to have you back on here. The discussion was the discussions we've had, you and me, over the years are just so in depth and so enjoyable. You being so true to yourself and sharing your perspectives on my publication, you make my job easy. That's what I'm trying to say. And I can't wait to see I really can't wait to see how this next chapter unfolds for you. Like, here you are, right? Nearing 3 decades with Within Temptation now, 8 full-length albums, the touring, your growing fan base, your relationship with the music, your husband and your bandmates, of course. Results are speaking for themselves. I mean, tell you that there's a level of inspiration here, and it's really commendable. Last question: if you were to give your 1996 self advice from this version that's sitting in front of me right now, what would it be?
Yeah, be confident. You have a little bit more faith in the future, and don't be afraid of what's coming. Yeah, I think I was in the beginning a bit afraid of like being proven wrong, that we would be a one-day fly and something, and that we were always had this fire within us to keep on making new stuff and trying new stuff. And but it because we were curious, but also a little bit because everybody just told us every time again, like, how are you going to top this? How are you, questioning if we would last longer than the album that we had, which was an extra push for us. Like, okay, we're going to prove them wrong. We're going to, we had that underdog position, and I embraced it because I love that position, actually, because it gives me a reason to fight for the things we love and for each other. And yeah, I think that helped us this belief helped us also to make an extra step forward. And instead of like everybody thought, yeah, they're going to be amazing, they're going to be around for 20 years more probably, that would have made like, okay, now you have to prove it still. But when people say you'll never make that, it's like, okay, we'll prove you wrong. And then it's nice to go into that battle then.
And here you are. Yeah.
Here we are.
Well, Sharon, I'm going to let you go here to your next interview, but don't be a stranger. Please, let's stay in touch on the socials. I can't wait to see you here in Dallas. Much love. Thank you for always being so sweet and being so kind and being so open about what you do in the music. Please don't stop what you're doing. But it's been always an honor. I can't wait to have you on again. Everyone who's listening, Sharon from Within Temptation. Bleed Out is out right now on Force Music Recordings. If you could do me and Sharon a favor, buy the record, because the bands can do it without your help. It really goes a long way. And you can listen to this podcast on all major podcast streams out there. Check us out on interviewonfire.com. Sharon, much love. Nothing but the best for you and your crew from here on out.
Thank you so
much. Have a great end to the year. Happy Halloween, Thanksgiving,
Happy
Christmas,
Halloween.
Everything. Happy New Year.
Exactly.
But I'll let you know when this interview airs, and then you can share it with your fans. But I'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you so much. And the compliment is for you as well. Thank you so much. Love you.
All right. Love you. See you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
She bleeds.